Right guys, I know it's been a long time, but we need to talk about Yarises. Lately, I've been getting lots and lots of hits on my old Toyota Yaris videos, and I think it's because there's a lot of them on the market and people want to know about them. They want to know what's going on, and I've had this for a year. Some people that have followed the channel may remember that I've already done some things to it to prevent rust, which is your main problem with these cars, really. For the MOT, I had to do a wheel bearing on this side, and I did the rear brake shoes just because I was in there, both sides. And the subframe is definitely not looking great. It's fine at the moment, you know, you can tidy it up, but it's one of those things that you're going to have to get on top of. The spot I'm most concerned about, and you should be concerned about too, I don't know if you can see it, but it's where the subframe joins on to the chassis. Let's see if we can get a good shot of it. Back there. Yeah. See, that's where I'm going to be applying a lot of attention next this year. If you look there, all of this area behind the spring there, I've already done that one a little bit. I've cleaned it up and given it some spray, but it needs to be done properly. The subframe must be protected on these vehicles, up there as well. All of these vulnerable spots need to be checked when you're buying one of these, and also maintained if you own one. You know, just because you bought it and it's all good when you buy it doesn't mean it's going to stay that way for long. So you've got to stay on top of these things, and it's kind of why I'm doing this video, because I want you guys to know where it's at. I was in Lidl and I saw a guy who works for RAC in the car park, and I just asked him, I said, what kind of cars are the most reliable at the moment? What's the most unreliable? He looked at the car I was in, said, you've got the best car. He said, that's the most reliable car on the roads. So is it? He says, yeah, absolutely. I said, what about the hybrids? Are they worse? Are they better? He said, no, exactly the same. He says, in his however many years he's been doing it, he said he hasn't had one hybrid Toyota Yaris that's ever had a problem. And he says, if they ever have had a problem, it's just been the normal 12-volt battery. As the same it is with this car as well. It's just a 12-volt battery. It's the only problem he's ever had with them. And to be honest with you, that's the only problem I've had. The battery did die on this car, and it turned out to be the original battery from factory. So 8 years for a 12-volt battery from Toyota, which is lunacy in itself, really, isn't it? But they do last like that. But it is one of those things, these cars, you know, if you don't stay on top of rust, it will rot away. You can't see what's going on here because it's all covered in dirt, but there's wax oil under there and it's all absolutely fine. There's no rust whatsoever underneath that dirt. It's just dirt and grime. In my older videos I discussed about up here as well, and as you can see, the rust has progressed around there because I haven't had a chance to do it, but I will be doing it this summer. You can see that it hasn't gone down too far yet. It's just surface rust, and I'll be able to sand all this back and repaint it. I think largely a lot of the problem is with these cars is the paint is very thin in these places, and there's hardly any lacquer there, and that's just causing this paintwork to rust really quickly, you know. If it, on my other car, the VW Touran, which I'll talk about later, doesn't have any of these issues because the paint was applied thickly at the factory, and the lacquer was applied thick. So yeah, you don't get any surface rust in these places on the Touran. All the door shuts and everything I've looked after, they've been polished and it's nice and clean. And that's another way. In here I've cleaned up all of these. They've had wax oil, which I'm going to talk to you about. If you're going to buy a Toyota, you need this stuff. You know, when I started out, people kept saying this to me, you need this, you need this, you need this. And I have used this. This is nearly empty, this one, and I swear by it now. You know, I don't think anyone should not have this and not be spraying vulnerable areas of their car even if you're not gonna sand down, you know, the subframe and, you know, do it properly like I'm going to, just spraying it with this is gonna make a massive difference. You know, it's gonna make it last a hell of a lot longer. So you can see when you spray it on rust, it sort of like bubbles and soaks into the rust and helps protect. I'll just try it on this bolt here for you. See that bubbling? As it sinks into the rust, it creates a barrier. See that? I mean, yeah, I kind of splodged it a bit there, but I'm going to wipe that out because I've got stainless bolts to go in here, so it's not a problem for me. But yeah, again, this stuff, you need it. You just do. I'm going to be using it in here when I take the front off, because we're going to have all this off, and I'm going to have a good analysis of what's in behind. Again, look how thin the paint and lacquer is. You know, it's non-existent there. Well, what you can do is, if you get a can of this, just do that. There you go. And you're just going to save yourself heartache later on. You can see where there's moisture there, look. Just sitting on those welds. So you know it's going to rust there. It's a matter of time. In there as well, look. Look at that. Just give it a little squirt. I've actually just run out of this. That's typical, isn't it? But yeah, I'm going to buy some more of this. And you should too. Just order it. I've used it all on all of these, look. That was ages ago I did that. And the doors are lovely and smooth. Look at that. Lovely. All my door hinges are super smooth. Lovely and clean. No rust at all. Look at that. It's how it should be. One of the biggest things I actually want to talk to you about is the sills. Remember what I said about the thin paint and lacquer? Look what's happening to the sills. This is mind-blowing. I've never seen this before. The paintwork and lacquer is just falling away and revealing the metal inside. Do you see that? Yeah? That's just dust and stuff that's eroding away the paint. So your car's going to rust, the sills are going to rust out, basically, if you don't do something about that. And that's what we're going to do. So, you know, if you're going to buy one of these cars, yeah, I'm telling you now, do it. First of all, because it's a brilliant car, and I can't say, it's been weird having stress-free motoring, you know, where you just don't need to worry about stuff breaking constantly. It's a really reliable motor, but sorry, I needed a swig of tea there. But what I will say is, you need to get stuck in and do some stuff to it. You know, you can't just leave these things, because you're just going to be essentially pissing your money away. You know, if you are getting one of these, or you've bought one, follow me, subscribe to the channel. You'll see exactly what you need to do and how to do it. It's easy. I'm telling you now, like, you could pay an orangutan to do it if you can't be bothered, or even a chimpanzee. I think they're a bit dumber than orangutans. Either way, brilliant. You will not have a problem. Piece of cake. And then you'll have trouble-free motoring, because let's face it, the only thing that's going to go wrong with this car is the paint and the rust. You see that on this side? See what's happening there? That's erosion caused by dust and mud off the road. It's eroding away the protective layers of the paint, revealing the metal, and that's going to rust your car away. Look at it. That's shocking, isn't it? Huh? This has to be stopped. You have to stop this, or you may as well kiss goodbye to your car. Now, in regards to fuel consumption, I will tell you this, that if you don't maintain it properly, the MPG drops quickly. Everything has to be working perfectly. And I think with the air filter, if you just let it even get a bit dirty, the MPG drops quite a lot. So I would recommend changing it maybe once every 6 months, depending on where you're at. And also, you don't have a fuel filter in this car, so you need to run Red-X for it as well, at least once every 6 months, just to keep everything nice and clean burning, and then that will keep your MPG up high. I mean, yeah, this is the petrol version, but I would say I'm just a little bit apprehensive about the hybrids, because I've heard horror stories about battery cells going and being really expensive to fix. But this, I knew what I was getting. It's just a simple petrol engine. I can fix pretty much anything on it. I'm not worried about it. So, and the RAC guy I chatted to, he said that he probably would do the same as me and go for a petrol just for peace of mind. But still, you know, he also said the hybrid's probably just as good, and the batteries don't tend to go on them. So, you know, the hybrids are a good way to go as well. I'd say either one, you know. It's just down to personal preference, really. I do like hybrids, but yeah, I don't like expensive battery repairs. Now, in regards to the Touran and everything that happened, obviously they told me I had to move it, and I did move it. I've got all the video footage of everything that happened, and I'll be uploading that. I've got another computer now, so I'm in the process of editing everything up. And yeah, all will be explained. So yeah, the sun's coming back out, and you know, it's perfect weather to start repairing things again, and you know, doing your essential maintenance ready for the winter. And hopefully I'll have the Touran back here all fixed. So yeah, it's time to get to it. It's spring and summer. It's the time that you have to repair. Though I have heard that apparently they're going to be blocking out the sun or something, dimming the sun. But, you know, I'm just too tired to go into that. Let's just do simple man things and fix stuff. See you soon.